basic idea. Okay, good. Common use cases, nice. How to build up career. Okay, middleware integration, great. Want to understand how Salesforce communicate with external systems? Sure, we'll cover. Authentication, great. Basic understanding, and integration roadmap, nice. Integration basic. Okay, Neeraj telling we can understand REST API and SOAP API. So John, I am giving you hint. Please copy all these, message, and I can say these will be number of sessions for you in this group, right? Great, great. We can understand REST API and SOAP API. We can cover interview question. Okay, where Deo can have real use cases. Okay, good. Basic of integration. Wow, I see lots of message. Hello, home. Here are my expectation. Where to learn real world demo. Perfect. Somebody telling integration in real time. Good. So integration from Salesforce to AWS or any third party tools. Okay, sure. So now let me share my screen. How we'll do? Of course, we have 40 or 45 minutes. So in these next couple of minutes, I will try to cover what you have already shared here. Okay, just basic overview, then some advanced overview, and then we'll go and we'll do something together. Means I will share you some guide, and you are going to follow that steps. And of course, I am here if you are stuck somewhere. Okay, so let's get started. Let me share my screen. Let me check quickly. Yeah, I think my screen should be shared now. 1 minute. And I'm going to turn off my video to make sure, like, my voice quality will be better. Actually, I'm a little away currently, so excuse me if some noises you might have to, face with my session. But no worry, let me share my screen. Okay, so if any one
It
of
is
you can
visible,
you
sir.
please,
It
you
is
can see,
visible,
right?
sir. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
It is visible.
awesome, awesome. And if you lost me somewhere, as I mentioned, I'm away, so like outside. So if you lost me somewhere, please, notify so I can reconnect with some better network. Okay, good. So welcome to the Trailblazer community groups, Kanyakumari, Salesforce Developer Group Kanyakumari. Thank you very much, John, for having me. And we can see like how you are bringing lots of awesome session, awesome speakers to this group and helping many of us to connect with each other. Right. So thank you very much for doing all these things. Once again, welcome everyone to the Salesforce Developer Group Kanyakumari, India. Uh, as John already introduced, I am Om Prakash. I'm a Salesforce MVP. I love to connect and learn with people like you. I keep sharing my knowledge. I learn from your knowledge and skills as well. Well, going to talk the Salesforce integration. Okay, so integration means, of course, we are going to connect multiple system. Okay, we are going to automate process and getting data and process from multiple system. So let's go and let's see. I have a couple of slides, and then we'll move to the main goal. That's our workshop where we will participate. Okay, so when few of you, written in the chat, I was looking on that some of you asked, you need to understand when really we have a need of integration, right? With real-time use cases. So let's see, as a company, I am using Salesforce for my team. Okay, so one company is using Salesforce for their internal employees. Okay, and same company has say some maybe online e-commerce portal, and they are selling the products to their customer, and that application in build outside of Salesforce. So here you can see one screen is here Salesforce screen that's used by the company and their internal team. And in this example here you can see, okay, there you want external portal, I should say external website or external application that is hosted outside of Salesforce. Okay, now assume here some purchasing happened, customer just ordered some products, and we need that info immediately in our Salesforce org. Okay, in Salesforce, that order is marked processed. Maybe the internal team who is handling the department for shipment, or say, okay, product processing. Okay, after order processing we need to check if payment is happened or not. Then they're going to mark that order status processed, okay, or shipped. Then of course we need to sync that info to our external system. Means here just I am talking one side, one use case where we can think, yeah, we need integration. Okay, so here I'm not talking about how to integrate, just I'm talking when we have need of integration. Now you can start visualizing many use cases, like where, okay, more than one system. There is one system. Okay, I'm using the Salesforce. Everything, every process of my company is happening in Salesforce. I am fine. I don't need integration. But if we have two systems, three systems, and we need to communicate with each other, we need the integration. Well, I understand we have mixed audience here, like from beginners to advanced. Or if you feel any question, you have anything in mind, please text here. So I will happy to discuss that. Okay. So now I'm going to say some of the we do integration. Okay, and one of the way is very common Salesforce REST APIs. And here Salesforce REST API, like if I say one example, in Salesforce we have our contacts, we have our accounts, we have our orders info, and developer who is building something for external system, like as I mentioned in the beginning, I am talking about two system, one is Salesforce, one is outside of Salesforce. So let's say the developers who is outside of Salesforce, and they need to take the data from Salesforce, how they will interact, right? Like for example, suppose there is Java application can't directly talk with our Apex coding, right? Our Salesforce platform is the different platform, Java application is on the different platform. How they will communicate? So here in the Salesforce we have Salesforce standard REST APIs that's given by Salesforce already, and the external system like Java developer, .NET developer, PHP developer, or any external developer, they will call the Salesforce REST APIs from their system, and they will get the data. Well, once we log into Salesforce, generally once we log into Salesforce, we need to provide our credential, right? It's secure. We need to put our username, password. Same here. Once they will interact with our Salesforce system with for any data or any communication, they need to authenticate. And for that authentication in the Salesforce, we use the Connect app. Well, some of you texted me. You are looking for interview question. I can say in these two slides, I have covered two or three interview questions for you. One interview questions can be, hey, how as a Java developer someone can authenticate with Salesforce? Just high level overview you can give. Okay, one is the one way is via connected app. On the connected app, under the API we will enable the auth setting, and we'll use the consumer key and secret, and the way like auth 2 we will follow here, we can authenticate. Okay, one use case you can start thinking here. Okay, what is under Salesforce REST APIs? Answer can be you define. You don't need to remember anything, right? You need to define based on your understanding. Okay, Salesforce standard REST API is given by Salesforce so that other platform, other developers, external system developers can communicate with Salesforce via the REST API. Okay, and if you to get started now, maybe as a Java script developer or from Java, there is some already sample, I can say, open source application. You can search quick force node for JavaScript, or quick for Java on the Google, and you will get some sample code and sample application how to authenticate and how to connect with Salesforce from the external system. Okay, so I was talking here about the authentication, right? So how this authentication process works basically, that's called the authorization flow. So here, okay, you are going to access the Salesforce external REST APIs from external system. You need to create the connected app, then you need to authorize with and you need to generate the access token, refresh tokens, and you can use that token while communicating. Just I'm talking high level, okay? And how it works, you can take these screenshots, and we can also today try these steps like creating the connected app in the Salesforce, then using this first URL to authorize, like we'll take the client ID and client secret from the our connected app, then we'll hit this URL, then we will get some code from this URL. We'll get the code, okay? We will use that code at the second URL. We'll pass the again client ID, client secret, and the code, and that time there will be, like, one token will be generated. One token will be generated, and that access token will be used while calling your REST APIs, like standard REST API, or even you can create your custom Apex services in the Salesforce. You can call directly from the external system. And this third URL is generally for granting, what you can do, you are going to generate the access token with help of refresh token as well. No worry, no need to be confused, just make it very simple in this way. Okay, first thing, we need to access, then we need to create connected app, then we need to authorize with help of our access token and refresh token. Okay, I'm taking just 1 minute break here. Any question you have in these 3 slides, like firstly need of integration, then Salesforce REST APIs high level overview, how you do authentication, and what is the role of connected app here, and how this authorization flow looks like. If you feel any question in this, please text here, then I will go next. I am understanding at this level now, especially for beginners. This couple of sessions was for especially for beginners, right? So if you feel you have any question, please put here. Of course, if you are advanced developer, already senior developer, no worry, I'm coming with some more content for you. Okay, can you explain REST API a little more? Yeah, sure, I will. Thank you. Which flow we should use? Okay, quick rewind, please, sir. Yeah, thank you very much. I know I am just talking quickly. That's why I taken some break. Okay, how many ways to authenticate with third-party system? Basically, authorization like auth2. Yes, good. What is the difference between connected app and named credential, remote site setting? Very nice question, Assis. I'm coming on this as well. Okay, using only REST API, we could connect any other way. Yeah, S1, lots of way we have. No worry, I'm coming one by one. So just one of the common way I here wanted to cover about REST API. Okay, now let's come back on all these questions, and let me go little back. Okay, first thing, in this use case, the REST standard Salesforce REST API cases, what I'm talking, here is my Salesforce org, and this is suppose built in the Java, just example. Okay, as a Java developer, you need to get the contact info or lead info from this Salesforce to this Java system, or you need to send some of the data from this system to the Salesforce system. Okay, here is Salesforce developer, we are working. Here is some Java developer or other developer is working. Okay, so in this example, I'm talking the external developer will connect with our Salesforce. And here I said, okay, we have Salesforce REST APIs. These are the standard APIs, REST APIs already built by Salesforce for us. And why for accessing these API, like while we are going to call this API from external system. Just for example, for demo, you can go and use Postman. Okay, you can try to connect with Postman. At that time, you need to authenticate, and for that authentication, here we are using auth 2.0, and here in the 2.0 we are creating a connected app in Salesforce. No worry, I will share my screen. I will go quickly with that steps as well after a couple of slides, and then we will take the consumer key and consumer secret from here. After that, we'll access. How will access? So there is some authorization here. Firstly, you need to generate the code, and once you hit this URL, I can try here quickly. Let me. Okay, no, I can try now. I have to firstly create the connected app, then I have to copy client ID, right? Okay, no worry. So just info here. I will come with demo shortly, and you will also do with me as it's workshop. So what we'll do, we'll generate the code, then we'll use the code to generate the access token and also refresh token, and generally refresh token. With help of refresh token, we can again generate the access token. Okay, and then while calling our REST API, for example, this is custom here. I have built some custom in this example, or even you are going to access the standard one, then you are going to use that access token. Okay, so no worry for this as of now. Just keep in mind, okay, we'll follow this step. I will cover this as a demo today as well. Okay, now one question I was looking, some of you asked, let me read. That was, what is difference between, very good point, connected app, named credential, and remote site setting? Okay, so all three of those works for the different usage here in the integration context. Okay, so connected app here, it is used when I mentioned external system developer have to access our Salesforce resources, then they need to log into Salesforce, and to follow that login process, we create the connected app, and with help of that connected app, we authorized with Salesforce. I'm just talking one use case of a connected app. By the way, connected app is also used with the multiple use cases. Okay, now question was named credential and remote site setting. So this will be in used when as a Salesforce developer, I will access some resources from this system via API. Okay, so just connected app will be used when external system developer will use the Salesforce APIs. And as you asked about named credential, that named credential will use when I as a Salesforce developer is going to call out the API from external system. Maybe REST API is built by external system. That time we will store our authentication info and our API info, endpoint info in the named credential. Now I'm coming with your question, remote site setting. So once a Salesforce developer will call out any endpoint API from Salesforce, and that API is outside of Salesforce, that time we need to put that specific endpoint URL in the remote site setting. Why? Because Salesforce admin is going to grant that, okay, our Salesforce system can access the data from this system. Okay, so I hope I am able to answer your question here in the very basic way, I hope. uh, Manoj just joined now. Nobody, Manoj. I think just I have covered what I have covered in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Just quick high level overview, why integration, and just one way Salesforce REST API is here. I will come more very soon. Archana, can you explain REST API a little more? I think now you are clear what I wanted to explain. Salesforce REST API, the standard API is in the Salesforce by developers who is sitting outside of Salesforce. They want to connect with Salesforce, and we using some endpoint URL. Okay. Okay, so nicely explained. Thank you for your compliments. Remote site setting, please explain once. Yes, sure. So suppose I am going to hit one URL. That URL is on this portal, like on this server. Okay, the server that is, I was telling, this is a system that is built in Java or .NET or any other programming language. So they will give us some endpoint URL. For example, let's say sample REST API endpoint URL. Okay, sorry, not shared, I guess. No, I'm sharing slide current. So just for example, say our data application is the Heroku. Okay, on the Heroku application we have our REST API running. Okay, and we have endpoint public or maybe URL, and we need to call URL from Salesforce. So that time we need to put those URL in remote site setting. Okay, so remote site setting, please explain once. I think we are clear here as well. Remote site setting, just in summarized way, if you are going to call any URL from Salesforce as an API, any API URL, you need to put those URL in the remote site setting in the Salesforce before we start using named credential, and calling out those. No worry, I think I have some slides where I will discuss more about those remote site settings and named credential. Okay. When we exposing the REST API from Salesforce, then other Java developer they need to consume our API and they will follow these steps, right? That you are explaining auth URL access. Yes, you are correct. Like these steps will be followed by Java developer. Yes, and as a Salesforce developer, we are going to help them with those connected app info. Like okay, these are some of the key token in my Salesforce, and these are some authenticate. So generally always keep it, there's a client and server, right? If I am talking about API on the Salesforce, means Salesforce is playing role of server. Okay, an external system developer is going to call out those API as a client. So that time there is always some good documentation will be shared to them that explain every process, like how we are accepting the request, how we are giving the response, right? Same thing happen like if I as a Salesforce developer going to connect with external system API, then those system developer, those API developer need to give us some documentation, and that's called, we have the document of every API, even no matter you are calling Salesforce API or you are calling other API. Okay, good. Rupai asking difference between authentication and authorization. Okay, very nice question. Just let me try to give it in a very simple way here. See, this is first step in the our authorization flow. We are going to log into Salesforce. Means once you hit this URL, then it will ask you to put the username password, and then they will give you code. Means are you authorized to access that? Are you authorized to access my org? That's somehow authorization. Like okay, today this group leader authorized me to give session here with you all, like the first entry point I can say. Okay, and authentication, that's again part of that authorization flow, and here we are just authenticating. Okay, whatever code was generated in the authorization flow, that code you help me to generate one of the access token, and with that access token I am going to authenticate in Salesforce. Like I'm going to tell Salesforce, hey, I am the valid person to access these resources, right? So in this flow, first thing we are authorizing with username password, and here we are authenticating with our access token. That's just a minor difference here. Okay, I hope I was able to explain in basic terms here. Can you please explain named credential once again? Yes, named credential means, again in the previous example, here I am a Salesforce developer. I am going to write some code, and I need to authenticate, and I need to connect with external system. Means I need key token somehow. I need the endpoint URL, like which URL I am going to call. Means the same, like here I'm talking, if external developer is talking with Salesforce developer, like we are going to give them key token. Similarly, if I from Salesforce going to connect external system, that time we also need the details info of those API. So in the named credential, we are going to put the endpoint URL. That's endpoint URL that is coming from external system. The authentication info we are going to put in the named credential. Okay. Okay, so now I think we have lots of question. I will come back again on the question. Let me go next. Our other way here. I was talking for REST API here. Now this was one quick example I wanted to cover about the custom REST API. Like once you build some custom Apex class in the Salesforce, and you are going to expose that as an API, and why it needed, like okay, Salesforce has already given us lots of standard API, but sometimes you have to write some complex logic, right? For example, you are going to take some basic info from external system, and based on that info you have to write some SQL query, then you have to do some calculation, then you have to create some couple of records, and you just want, okay, all these things happen with one API call out. You can write one Apex class, you can write your logic, okay, in this Apex class I will take the some input parameters. Based on some input, that input parameters I will do our calculation, and we'll do some DMLs, and then we'll send the response. Means you need the more feasibility to write your custom logic, you can write your Apex class, you can expose that as a REST services from Salesforce, and external system developer, external system can access those REST API again, like the like some the main URL that will of course return after the authentication, something like that. Instance URL .com means every org has their instance URL already, and slash services Apex REST, and the service name what you are building. I will show you in the demo as well. Okay, so I think here is the quick demo you can see. No, sorry, this is not the demo for this. I will show you later. This is for creating custom Apex REST services. Okay, so till now I was talking in the context where external developer is using the Salesforce REST API. Now I am coming on the call outside where what is happening? We as a Salesforce developer is going to call the external system API. I think we have already discussed. Few of you asked this in the group already. Like you asked already, okay, what if someone from Salesforce need to call the API of external systems? So I was talking about that early. If I go on the first slide, so now I am going to talk on this. I am here in the Salesforce org. I'm writing my code here, and from here I need to call the API of external system. So that's called call out. And one more interview question here, right? I know, little confusing for beginners, but no worry. Just keep it separate context. Don't relate with previous one. Here I'm talking. We need to call the API from Salesforce. Then we have various options in the Salesforce. We have outbound message from flow, you can call out. I think I this slide seems like older, so I forgot to mention here from the sales HTTP call out, you can call API from there as we call out. And another way, the Apex class, and this class will look like this. Say just a call out handler, one class here, very basic class. Just I define one URL here in this class itself. By the way, because here just I will cover a public API, so just I have assigned the URL here and getting this URL from one of the utility class. But generally, as we discussed earlier, named credential is the best way behind these URL things. And here in this context, if you are defining URL here directly, we are not in named credential, then we must set this URL in the remote site setting, as few of you already asked this earlier. Okay, this method is your call out true, because here again I wanted to highlight this. If you are doing integration from trigger, means if you are calling some external Apex trigger, then you need to make sure your process is running in the async, or just after doing DML you can't call out in the interview. Maybe interviewer can check your process with this basic question. Okay, please explain how you are going to call out the external system API from trigger. So yeah, keep in mind we need to go with future methods like this, or of course we have batch classes, you can call out from batch classes as well. Okay, or maybe queuable. But goal is there is a very basic do post call out method here. This method is taking a body by can say here just some content. Basic just HTTP obj equal to new HTTP. I am defining our HTTP class variable here. Then request HTTP request. In the request, we need to set the endpoint URL, which URL you are calling, which method, the post and get method in the API context. So there are many get, post, delete, put, various methods, but here I am just putting post. Maybe we can talk some in some different context, like in all details, like when to use get. Generally you need to just get some info, we go with get API. You need to update something, maybe you need to send them data from data in the request body, then we use post. And in the request header we need to define content type, what you are sending. Okay, you are sending application JSON, then application JSON, and in the body I will pass that application JSON. And then just obj http dot send request. Overall, if you look on high level, these are the only things needed to call out from the Salesforce to external system. Here authentication part is missing. I wanted to make it keep very simple. So you can see, okay, we need the HTTP because REST API we are using, and that will communicate with HTTP. So we're just creating HTTP, new HTTP, one object. Okay, then request. On the request, I am telling, okay, set endpoint, set method, set header, set body. Like in the request, we are assigning all these things with help of our HTTP object variable here, HTTP dot send, right? So on the HTTP, in the HTTP class, we have send method, and that send method is taking the request. So now we can try, oh, that's very simple. Creating the request and just sending. If I have to request something from you, what I will say, right? Okay, same thing. Just okay, I need this information. Method means we are sending somebody here. Okay, and you are just giving me response back. So here I just written for calling out external system REST API, external REST API from Salesforce without authentication here. Okay. Well, so till now we have discussed about REST API and from both sides, like Salesforce REST API as well as REST API built by external developer. Okay. I think I have one question. Named credential is used to store credential information like username, password, and remote site setting is used for authorized third-party endpoints. Yeah, thank you very much, Neeraj, for adding that. Yes, and here one more thing I want to highlight. If you are using the named credential, you don't need to use the remote site setting. Okay, so that's something, one more cool thing here. You can go ahead and try it out. Praveen, named credential is better because we don't need to pass username and password through the connection. Yes, I'm agree with you. We are going to store all these, authentication information in the named credential. Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. If I miss some question, no worry, I will read it again. Neeraj is asking, uh, difference between basic authentication and auth 2.0. Okay, so basic authentication can be like, okay, just you have username, password, something, or I can say you have key token and you are just passing it in the authentication. This is okay, just I am calling you your API and I am just passing authentication at the same time. But auth 2.0 is much better, much secure, because it's somehow, you can say, initially I am generating, I am authorizing, then I am generating the code. With help of that code, I am generating access token, and with help of access token, I am going to access. So just see the just difference, like their authorization flow. Okay. uh, in this series, can we expect tolling API and metadata API session also? Yeah, great point. So yeah, we can connect with John on this if he's planning for a couple of series. Of course, it can be covered here, and I will happy to refer some of the reference for learning all those things. Access token and refresh token difference, please. Thank you very much, everyone, for asking this question. Because if you not ask, then I will not cover in the 30 or 40 minutes context, right? If you're asking, then I will happy to answer that. So access token and refresh token. Okay, let me go back on that slide where I was generating the access token. So access token is required to authenticate with Salesforce while calling the API. Okay, And access token will expire after some time. It depends on some setting, like suppose session setting, and also some various factors here. So access token will expire. Then what you need to do? Once access token is expired, then you need to go to follow the same steps again, like authorize, pass the client ID, and direct URL. Direct URL you need to define on the connected app. And after this, again it will ask you to enter the Salesforce username and password, and then you will get the code. Okay, now in the system, like here some first time here user interaction needed. I will show you demo as well. Here user interaction needed, so we avoid this process again and again. What we do, we generate a refresh token during this process itself, one access token and one refresh token. With help of that refresh token, we can again exchange the access token. Means we are sending the refresh token to Salesforce and we are telling, hey, give me a new access token, I need to access the resources, and Salesforce will give you the access token. So I hope very basic difference you are clear. Okay, refresh token will be alive. With help of refresh token, you can generate the access token. That makes sense? Okay. Inbound integration and outbound integration. Of course, so these are some great terms here. Like if I go back on this, here I am in the Salesforce. Okay, and someone from outside of Salesforce calling our API means we are just accepting some request, means some inbound request is coming to us, right? And we from Salesforce are sending some request outside, means outbound request is going. The same here. If I talk about Salesforce REST APIs, in Salesforce it's used for the inbound API. Okay, and here if I talk about call out, here we are doing outbound stuffs, and that's why you can see your name also suggest in the flow we have outbound message. In the flow we have HTTP callouts, and we have in the Apex we have these methods to call the API and HTTP. Okay, so very quickly I will cover the SOAP API. So we till now we have just discussed about the REST API part. That's the endpoint URL based API callout, simple, secure, and easy to connect. Nowadays we preferred it much. SOAP API is of course used with many of the enterprise customers, especially the businesses who has been using API from last decade or longer time. They have their SOAP API that is based on the two more important things, like what happened in the SOAP API. These are some XML based. We have some of the files, that file definition, I can say. In that XML file, we need to define the each and everything about those API. And what we do, let me give just high level overview here. Suppose from Salesforce I need to give external system info of the SOAP API, how you can take the data of Salesforce with help of SOAP API. So in Salesforce, let me repeat again. As a Salesforce developer, I am giving some resources to external developers so they can connect with Salesforce with help of SOAP API. So we have web service description language in the Salesforce. In the Salesforce, we go and generate the visual file that will be like something XML file, and we give those visual file to external developer, and external developer will consume that visual file in their system, and they start interacting with our Salesforce system. At the same time, suppose I need to call the SOAP API that is running on the external system. What happened? External system will give us the visual file, the XML file, and in the Salesforce, in the Apex, we will go and generate the Apex from those digital file. And that time, what we'll do, now we will write our logic in Apex class to integrate with the system with help of that SOAP API. Okay, so just I'm giving very brief summary. I'm looking on time as well. Your time is important, and just I want to give quick info here. SOAP API, just visual file based communication. If our system, like Salesforce system, need to accept the request with SOAP API means we need to generate the visual file and we will give to the external system. I need to connect with external system. They are giving us SOAP API. They need to give the visual file, and we will use that visual file in Salesforce. Okay, and in Salesforce, like enterprise visual and somehow partner visual. Enterprise visual, it can be for the clients who is building one one application, and that will tightly enforce of price visual. Let's you are building one application that you are building application that will Salesforce database schema and those related ups, then we go with digital. So here just high level difference I am telling, like okay, the one to one, suppose not one to one I can see, but for example, okay, I have large system that's running on outside of Salesforce. I have one Salesforce org here, and I'm just going to generate the enterprise visual, and then you can access all our schema info in your uh, system. Like while you are going to integrate with us, we will use enterprise digital. Partner digital means okay, Salesforce org, and you are building some application where maybe multiple people can communicate with their Salesforce. So that's something we are building partner visual. Maybe we can have some differentiation or and talking more on this with some example and usage. But on the high level, I think this one liner definition will helpful for you. Or if any question in this context, please let me know. I will happy to discuss that. Using REST and SOAP, like that question, when to use REST and SOAP. So, Sharpi, thanks for asking. Again, this depends. First thing, see, if you are going to communicate with any system, like we have to integrate Salesforce with some external system. First thing we need to check what API they are providing, right? Like if you have to choose between SOAP and REST, first thing, some providers I know they are not providing REST API, they only have SOAP API. Okay, we need to call out their API. Okay, someone had their REST API already ready and SOAP API. So generally, we check the complexity of the requirement, and I preferred okay, let's go with REST API. Like if you have SOAP API and REST API both, and if you are giving me option, I can go with REST API because as I mentioned earlier, it's lightweight, it's easy to integrate comparing to SOAP API. Still some system like some of the payment gateway I have integrated in the past, and they only have option SOAP API. You need to choose SOAP API. Okay, so there is a various use cases, and I can say discussion like which pattern is better. And then we need to take a call what we need to use. Okay, and nowadays because we don't want to doing lots of stuffs in the integration, let's usually ready to use stuffs, then we have other way. I will talk quickly on those area as well. And MuleSoft, our one of the leading platform that we preferred, but again depending on the various use cases. Okay, so quickly, I think talk different segment. Okay, forget what we have discussed. Not totally forget. Means in this context, what from the interview perspective as well. So Salesforce Connect. I have a workshop planned for this today, but I no worry. I will share that guide to you as well. So Salesforce Connect. Let's assume one use case. Again, let me go back on this system. Okay, let's maybe you can make a note. Salesforce Connect, I am talking about Salesforce Connect. We have this system outside of Salesforce, and on this we have large database, like millions and billions of data. In Salesforce, we don't need to store all those data, right? There is a legacy database here. I don't need all those data. I only need some data what I need, and I now don't need to store in Salesforce. That can be read-only data, or maybe I can say virtual data. I can even update something here. Salesforce Connects provide that ability, like you can access the data in the Salesforce from your external system if those are supported. By the way, once creating Salesforce, once creating some external data source, we have option to choose which type, like OData 2.0 or OData 4.0, something like that. So in this context, we use Salesforce. I'm sorry, I feel some noises outside, and I hope you are able to listen me as well. As I mentioned in the beginning, I am a little outside today. Okay, so here we are not copying the data in Salesforce, just we are going to access the data without storing in Salesforce in the virtual data, I can say, and we can achieve this with help of Salesforce Connect. Okay, maybe if you have built any Heroku app, on the Heroku app, you can generate the endpoint URL and you can use that URL in the Salesforce with help of Salesforce Connect. Okay. Okay, sorry. Yes. Here I'm just moving quickly for the Heroku Connect. Just informational here. Heroku Connect is used, like let's say you have application running on Heroku. Your client has application running on Heroku, and that time, that time what you need to do, you need to access the database of Salesforce, like suppose contact, lead, or other data, other objects and records. Quickly within minutes you can access all those with help of Heroku Connect on your Heroku application, the application that's running on Heroku and using Heroku Postgres database. So with the click, just without coding, you can access and you can create all those data which is storing in Salesforce on the Heroku system, and you can again enable the bi-directional or one-directional sync between your data from Heroku application and from the Salesforce application with help of Heroku Connect. And here I was talking like, okay, yeah, your Heroku app can generate the endpoint you that can be also created with help of Heroku Connect. Here Heroku Connect can help you exporting the Heroku Postgres database to Salesforce Connect, again depending on the various business use cases. I know I'm making it very complex for you, but here goal is just giving the informational some info to you and you can try it out, right? uh, this is good fit for business to consumer apps, like you can think, okay, in the very beginning I was giving you example here, like Salesforce used by business and external application, maybe some e-commerce site is used by the consumers. So that's a good fit here. Like you can use that Heroku Connect. And one great thing you can, if you are consultant, architect, you are talking with a customer, you can say them Heroku Connect data sync doesn't count against the Salesforce API limits. Whatever we have covered till now, Apex REST API or SOAP API, all those counted against our Salesforce API limits. Like every API call out will be counted with our API limits. Here with Heroku Connect, we don't, consume those API limits. One more way we have Canvas. So let's say you have very beautiful application running on the your and you need to access that person access that application inside Salesforce as well, and applications UI something in your Salesforce org. Well, so this was some of the quick slide I had. I promised earlier for the workshops. So I am. We are running out of time because we have covered lots of good questions here as well. Uh, okay, I think. Hey, still you are not able to hear me. I just see a message. You are not able to hear me. Can someone please confirm if you can hear me?
Your voice is audible, sir. It is good.
Now it's clear or disturbance?
No, it is good.
Good, good. Okay, okay. I just out. Okay, okay. Sorry, as I mentioned, maybe I'm a little out today, so it can be possible. Sorry, guys. Can you please repeat about Canvas? Okay, surely. So I will repeat for that as well. In the Canvas, let's say the UI is side of Salesforce. Okay, I know this UI and this application Salesforce. Canvas provide us the okay how I'm not talking how in this context today, but if you go and Google it, you get some resources, some sample application as well. You can connect with that. Okay, so now quickly, why not go to? Let me stop my screen share again. Let me share my screen again, and let me share entire screen now this time, and I'm going to my Salesforce org, and let's go to connected app. I was talking earlier, remember, here basically we need to go app manager. Here I'm talking about Salesforce REST API, how external system will access. So here, let's say connected app, I can create the connected app now. It will take up to 5 to 7 minutes to getting ready. So maybe I can use some already previous connected app. Let me check. I should have here in the app type connected, managed. Okay, connected India team. Why not? Let's use this connected app or app now. Okay, so view. So just you need to create new connected app. Maybe we can have different sessions. Sorry, I think we're running out of time, but no worry. Maybe I will take 5 more minutes if it's okay for all of you. Okay,
You can
so
continue, sir.
oh, thank you very much. So here, let me. It's asking some code. No worry. Let me put the code quickly. I should receive on my email. Okay, so I received email verification code on my mail. 32. Okay, so workshop. My intent was like we can do mention, but good. I think I'm happy we have covered lots of stuffs. Just informational. Maybe we can have some time where we can cover on the more on the. Okay, I hope it's okay with all of us. Let me copy this consumer key and consumer secret. Okay, and now let me go back to that slide. Remember, I was telling one slide that authorization. Here is that slide, right? Let me copy all this from here. Let me go and open the VS code. Okay, let's say client ID. Okay, I'm going to copy the client ID from my connected app. It's here, copy client ID. I copied that. Okay, then I need to put the redirect URL. Okay, let me check on the connected app what redirect URL I have added. It's telling this website. So let me put here redirect URL equal to this one. Then that's fine. Response type is code. Let me copy this. Okay, and quickly let me show you how can you create new connected app. Nothing, very simple. Just click new connected app, and here give connected app name. Let's just for example, okay, workshop API something. Give an email. Okay, just demo.com. Okay, as of now I'm giving. We should give valid email by the way here, and this is main enable auth setting, and here I will give one connected URL, callback URL. What is callback URL? I will see quickly in this next demo here. Okay, and then here we need to choose the access. You are going to give full access, or maybe you are going to give API access. Okay, user can access the data via API, and then some of the options we have here. Okay, ID, profile, address, email, and as per your need you can choose a couple of options from here, and once you save this, then it will be landed on the connected app page, connected app details that I was showing already currently. Sorry, connected app, any of this like no worry. I think we saw this previously, right? For example, if I am here, view. like this, right? And here I have already copied the consumer key from my connected app, and I have made this ready. Let me go quickly and put this in the this URL. Let's see. Okay, what's happened wrong? Acha, okay, okay. No worry. I think this website is, no worry. You can see I'm landed on this website and code is coming here. Okay, now I got the code here. One step is missing. After hitting that URL, it should ask you to log into Salesforce, but you can say I am already logged in this browser, so that step is missing. But good thing is that I got the code. Here is my code. Okay, I need to use that code. This code came in the URL. If you notice that this code came in the URL, which URL? Redirect URL, then code equal to this. I copied this code, and I'm going to use this code in the second one. Here code equal to this code. Client ID, I already have client ID. Let me copy that client ID from here, consumer key. Let me put this client ID here. Okay, and client secret. Good thing is that I already have here client secret. Let me paste that client secret here and redirect URI. Again, I need to put that URL that was available on my, that was in the daemon.in, right? So let me put URI equal to, let me copy from here, so it will come fully like this. And let's see, let me hit this URL again in the browser. Okay, and this time if everything fine, you can see, wow, we have the access token, we have the refresh token, right? And this was the refresh token I was telling. With help of this refresh token, again you can exchange, you can get a new token. How? Let's see. Refresh token equal to, let me put the request token here. Okay, let me copy that mhm. Consumer key. Let me put this consumer key equal to client ID. Let me put this client secret at the client secret. I have used the refresh token here, and now I am going to ask Salesforce, hey, with help of this refresh token, give me a new access token. Good thing is that you got the access token, you got this instance URL as well, right? Let me copy this instance URL, and let's put here instance URL slash now what you need to do, let's Google it. Sample Salesforce REST API. Okay, standard. You can see here Apex Hour has some resources, some details. We can see lots of learning resources. Along with that, our Salesforce official docs. And here, for example, if you are going working with records, for example, create, update, delete, and something like get value, or maybe yeah, create record. That's fine. Create record, and you can call out, copy this. Okay, let's copy. Okay, and you can see here you need to, sorry, this is my instance URL, so I can use this instance URL here like this .com, like this. Okay, and here token, what I can do, maybe I can use the curl or bearer token. Here I can use the token. I can go and take my access token. Let me see, I can try with Postman. Or if I system already have something, I think, yeah, I have Postman here, right? I can use this quickly. No worry, I will take 2 more minutes. Then let me use this URL. Okay, in the Postman, let's put this. Oh, good thing is that I have already something here for S object. I can put this get and this, then go to authorization. Here it's token. And let me copy the token that's generated just in the previous steps. We have here the access token, right? Let me copy this access token. Let's come to this place, replace with latest access token. Let's try send this request. Okay, and if my access token is still valid, yes, it should be valid. Then you can see this is coming from Salesforce. And remember, I was talking about URL will be called by the external developer, Java developer, .NET developer, or any developer who want to access the Salesforce data. Here I am using the Postman. So now we can see this some more about because I am using the S objects, so it's coming all those info about a subject. You can take account and contact on any specific URL from here. You can directly hit it. I was trying to show earlier about this URL as well. So let me paste URL. Okay, let's go to the body, and on the body, let's take the sample like if this sample URL, I can copy this, copy, and let's go to the Postman again, and here in the body, let's paste this. Let's say demo during meetup. Okay, so what we are doing, we are going to create account record, and we are going to pass this information in the JSON. Let's try send. Sorry, not get, should be post, by the way. Okay, how I got to know about post? If you say if you come here, you can see somehow they mentioned, or of course we can explore here. They are mentioned already. It will be post, and in beginning also I mentioned some, we are sending some request body. We'll go with put up. Okay, text plain not supported by the resource. Then of course here we need to body, and in the body this text is not there. See, we are learning from our mistake, right? We are doing some mistakes. Then okay, it's JSON. Okay, good. How we'll got to know with this API specification? You can see somehow they mentioned JSON. Okay, we need to send JSON. So now let's try again, send, and this time our record should be created, and it is record ID, right? If I go to my Salesforce org, if I go ID, I can say it's created, and this is created by with help of REST API. Okay, I think I need to take break here because we are running more than time, but I will happy to reconnect again sometimes if you need some specific details in that specific segment. I was talking REST API, I was talking SOAP API, and I know I see lots of info. If you are beginner, it can be like, okay, what is happening? Lots of info happening, but no worry. Now you know you have uh, some different learning path. Now you can learn. Okay, connected app. Okay, let's learn more on the Trailhead. We have lots of learning resources. Even if you go on Trailhead, just type something. Let me share my screen quickly. How I generally go and learn. Let me share my screen again. And see, let's go on Trailhead. Sorry, let me open the Trailhead page directly. Okay, nobody, and connected app, enter this. Okay, connected app basic, right? Of course I need to log in, then just high level overview. Connected app, you will get lots of stuff there. Okay, how connected app works. You ask in something about the REST API, and someone mentioned named credential. Okay, search named credential. So goal of this session was giving you some taste and different flavors from that. You need more session. Thank you, Anand. I think I am taking it as a compliment for us. So your teaching is really awesome. We need more session like this. I'm happy to connect Sophie for more. And of course, this is the beauty of this Suhana. You guys inspire us. And some questions here. So access token is coming in auth 2.0 scenario, right? Not in basic auth. Yeah, Niraj, thank you. And Praveen already replied here. Say Praveen, thanks for helping us. How to pass parameters which are sometimes mandatory for some API calls to the URL using named credential. Can you demo, please? Yes. How to pass parameters which are sometimes mandatory for some API call to the URL using the named credential. Okay. So parameters will pass from our coding, like our from REST API, our sample code as I was showing earlier. We'll use that parameters there. I can say, And what I can say, let's connect sometime. Maybe on the LinkedIn you can message me. I will just try to record 5 minute, 10 minute demo for this. I will share you. Okay, that I think that works for you as well. And even you can Google. I am sure you will get something. Or please go to the Trailblazer community. On the Trailhead, we have our Trailblazer community, and the community section. Please put your question. I'm sure many of us are active there. They will reply you. Vijay, can you share LinkedIn ID, please? Yes, I will happy to connect. You can connect with me on the LinkedIn Om Prakash IT. Let me share here. I will happy to connect and share more insight together. 1 minute. I know lots of questions are coming. I'm very happy to see all these questions because if you are engaging, then speaker and group leaders, everyone enjoy. Okay, about we are making this engaging. So if I missed couple questions, nobody, please text me there. I will happy to reply there because lots of questions are coming. So I just checking which is coming in quickly to me. Okay. Uh, from trigger or asynchronous apex, we are calling third-party website. Yes, we have to call asynchronous call out true. Yes, Raja. So generally, from trigger, what happened once we are calling the suppose a record created in Salesforce. Okay, at same time we are calling. We need to send that data outside. Means we are calling API. So because DML happened, record created in the same context, you can't call out the API. You can't use the API call out there. So you need to define maybe future method, and future method will be call out equal to true. And why call out true? Because again, future method doesn't support the call out by default. So you need to say to future method, okay, future method, you need to call out. We are going to call out. Okay. So future method to make this asynchronous and call out true to tell future method we are calling out. And maybe you are calling batch class, then nobody directly you can call it batch class. So goal is using asynchronous way. Okay, good. Can you show real-time integration? Yes, Swati. So this was one type of real-time integration. I have one more thing for you. After this meetup, my screen is visible still, right? Let me go quickly. I have after this session, you will receive one email from our group leader, and he will share you this guide. I am planning to do this together, but I'm still happy. Yeah, we have not covered this, but we have covered lots of info. So this is real-time example for the Salesforce connected app. Remember, I was talking about hey, bring some data from external system without copying in the Salesforce. So with this workshop guide, we can quickly do this. How we'll do this? We can just create a external data source in the Salesforce, and then we need to define the URL, and we can choose which object you needed in Salesforce. Suppose with help of this URL, this sample URL by giving my Salesforce, we are coming with I can say we are getting this much database. I can say tables, right? Tables, sorry. And we are choosing, okay, I need order and orders in the Salesforce. Then two external object will be created in the Salesforce. So what we are doing with help of Salesforce Connect, yes, Salesforce Connect, lots of terminology, right? Excuse me. So with help of Salesforce Connect, we are going to create external object in Salesforce, and then again we're going to create some lookup field, some indirect lookup relationship to make the relationship between objects and external objects. Lots of good stuffs here. So I will share this. I think this private repository, nobody, but still I will share this to John, and John will email to you because you have already done RSVP for events, so you will receive the one email. Okay, and then you can try this. Or Trailhead, we love Trailhead, right? Go on Trailhead. I am screen still sharing my screen, I guess. Yes.
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Okay. On Trailhead itself, you can again write. Let me log in quickly. So on the Trailhead, if I search, let's see, integration. Okay, that's fine. Integration. In this Apex integration services, I was talking about Apex REST call out. I was talking SOAP call out, Apex database, Apex integration overview. There is some more trails and some more modules we have. Become integration champion, data integration specialist, multiple things there, right? You can also do the hands-on from there. And if any query, we are always around. Limitation of integration, of course, everything comes up with limitations. So there is a different set of limitations, and at the same time different type advantage. Both things is able. Thanks for great session, revised basic of integration. That was great for me. Thanks, Neeraj. I'm happy we are able to revise some stuffs, and that's I mentioned in the beginning. Yeah, it's somehow mixed session, like even some beginner, and if you're expert, maybe you are going to look back on the basic. If you're beginner, you are getting some new flavor, a new taste. Uh, okay, I think we need to now take break. That's right from my side. Thank you very much, every one of you, for being very active participants. I really enjoyed talking with you all. Hey, John, thanks again for this opportunity. I really happy to connect with many energetic people, many trailblazers here, because I really loved this. Because sometimes what happened in some sessions, especially in virtual mode, just I am speaking and people are not reacting. Happens sometimes, right? But today it's really a cool experience with me. Thank you, everyone. Please, John, take it ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving time. Thank you for the informative session. In future, I am expecting you will give more sessions in our group.
Of course,
Thank you,
happy
sir.
to connect. As I see many of our fellow learners and trailblazers are asking some more workshops, so we can come with workshop. And good thing is that if you will be returning participants, we will directly start with workshop context, because today I wanted to give, see, if you are doing some workshop, you need to give some context first. What workshop we are going to do, right? And we started in the way we engaged with question answer, and I think we have done that one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you.